Nostalgia is a bitch. The Mummy is a 1999 action-adventure horror movie directed by Stephen Sommers and starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. And when I was younger, this movie was truly important in my upbringing. I grew up with this movie. I watched it a lot of times when I was little. After a while, for some reason, I found it incredibly disturbing and scary and I did not want to watch it, but then after I fought my fears, I rewatched it again multiple times, and it was one of my favorite action-adventure movies with horror elements. And up until today, it has been probably almost 7 years since I last watched it. Things have changed. Things have changed quite a lot. The movie has pretty much the same premise as all of the other Mummy movies. Evil priest falls in love with a princess in ancient Egypt. She is related to the pharaoh. She dies in some way, and this priest tries to resurrect her. He gets killed by the army, the soldiers, and now he's been mummified. Thousands of years later, some adventurers during an expedition rediscover this mummy. He comes back to life and he starts bringing chaos and terror to everybody. And honestly, after we watched pretty much all of the Mummy movies except some very weird ones, I have still to say probably this is my favorite one because it's the more engaging. And I know that some people prefer the slower pace of the original 1932 Mummy. I also really liked the 1959 version by Hammer Horror with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. But this version is the more fun, and it has an element that it is pretty much an Indiana Jones movie without Indiana Jones. And it works honestly, and there are multiple good things about this movie. First of all, the cast. The cast is very likable. Even though the characters are written in blatantly obvious ways, especially in the beginning where it's the usual, you know, oh, but you're my sister, you should know better. Oh, but you're my stupid-ass brother, and also I haven't been accepted in this faculty, and all that nonsense, so that you actually get to know the characters, even though they just spout everything at you. But the actors are good actors. Rachel Weisz is pretty good. Daryl Hannah... Fuck me, Daryl Hannah. The Mummy 1999 cast. What's this? Brooklyn 999. I said The Mummy. John Hannah. Fuck me. John Hannah is an actually pretty good comic relief, and our hero, our savior, Brendan Fraser. He delivers the best performance of his career, honestly, and he has a great mixture of being fun, likable, kind of an asshole, but you still kind of like him. He's very good in this movie. It still remains my favorite performance of his, and I miss him. I miss that guy. What really brought the movie down for me, except for, I mean, the story is serviceable at best, with some very interesting concepts, however. I do like the whole thing that Imhotep has to come back and has to get the organs from those who open this chest. For example, he gets the eyes from one person, then he gets the skin, multiple... It's highly disturbing for a child, but watching it now, it's fun and interesting as a concept, but the visual effects have aged badly. Truly badly. Some effects still stand up, honestly. Mostly the backdrops, multiple buildings, those things, the opening shots, they still look fairly good, honestly. But some things like the Mummy, when it's fully 3D, the mummies in the ending of the movie, in the climactic battle, all of the scarabs look horrible, especially the swarm of them. That's hilariously bad. But other effects, especially the practical effects, the sets look great. And I also really do enjoy that gigantic-ass cloud of sand with Imhotep's face. That's a great effect. And Imhotep himself is, in my opinion, the most menacing of all these mummies in this version, because he is freaky looking. When he opens his jaw, it's all very long. Ooh, boy, oh boy, that's some creepy-ass shit. And that's probably the aspect that I still like the most about this movie, because the other movies do not resonate with me all that well. Because the original Universal Monster movie does not hold up, in my opinion, compared to other ones, because it's just not interesting as a story. It's very boring, you don't care about anyone. But in this version, the characters are fun, and you do like them because they are fun characters to be with. But there is a horror element that's pretty strong, and probably not for older audiences. I mean, watching it nowadays at 20 years old, you're just watching it with like, yeah, it's kind of disturbing, honestly, but the dated effects, some of the acting, they do lessen the impact of the horror. But I think that this is a great way to introduce younger audiences to horror movies, because it's freaky, it's truly creepy in a couple of sequences, and the music is still very great, and I love listening to it. It's one of the better adventure soundtracks, and that's probably the thing that still makes this movie highly fun compared to other more 2000, early 2000 movies, is that we do not have adventure movies anymore like we did back in the day. Because when is the last time that we got something like an Indiana Jones, something that was a big budget action adventure movie, set possibly in the past? Because I am truly looking forward to the Tom Cruise version of The Mummy. It's coming out soon, very soon, that sets up the dark universe and whatnot. But the thing that makes it probably less strong for me is the fact that it's set in modern times. And that works so best with these monster movies, and especially with The Mummy, this remake 1999, is that they are set in the past. And you can get away with a lot of things. Seeing a mummy going through ancient Cairo, it looks great. And it has a feeling of adventure that brings such a joy to the viewer. I love the feeling of it all. It does remind me of Indiana Jones, and we do not get these types of movies anymore. Where are the adventures gone through? Filming movies in the jungle or on expensive sets, going back in the 20s, in the 30s. I miss those movies. I truly miss them, and I can still thankfully watch all of the older ones, and I'm thankful that The Mummy exists. It doesn't hold up as well as it did before. Some of the dialogue is hit or miss, some of the jokes don't work as much anymore, but it is still a fun movie. It has still some solid action set pieces, and it is also a pretty good introduction for younger audiences to horror movies. So I highly recommend you watch The Mummy, especially if you don't mind dated effects, because if you can go over that, you still have a fun and enjoyable adventure to watch. Now still, guys, have you watched the 1999 Mummy, and also if you watched the sequels, because they're not as good, especially Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Yeah. But still, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.